I feel like, you look at that change, and you said it's a good, right? Obviously. I mean, I'd hope it would be considered good. We look at that change then. It's not easy. It's not fun. I couldn't imagine.
No.
Right? So, like, at the time, that change might seem hard, right? With all the suffering and,
Cravings
like,
and wanting.
Yeah, so it wasn't easy. Would you, putting yourself, and I know that there's caveats with it, but putting yourself in that time, remembering that feeling, would you say at that time that it was good change still?
Yes, but there could have been better.
Mm-hmm. And so then I guess that we've kind of touched on it already, but
That's where it comes with the acceptance part. Accepting the change itself.
yeah, when I was gonna say, is good change always easy?
No.
Is it always fun? No, I
No.
feel like we've established that pretty well.
But-
and
I feel like, hold on really quick.
Okay.
I feel like when change is happening right now, it's like right here in this moment, it's not fun, it's not easy, you don't want to accept it, but in the long run, you're gonna wish you had accepted it better or sooner or easier or whatever, because it's gonna help you in the long run.
And on that note, I remember, I don't remember what it was, but recently I was just kind of sitting back and reflecting on something. What was it? I don't remember. Anyways, but I was sitting back and reflecting on something, some big change that has come through my life, and I was looking back and I was like, man, like that was like obviously, right, this was for the better. Or obviously I should have just let it sit back and wait out. But it was, but then I kind of had to catch myself because I'm talking about this now from a perspective of me that's been through so much more, and I got to see the bigger picture. I mean, obviously, you don't really know what to do with that change, right? So how do we navigate change?
Are you able to navigate it?
I mean, I would hope so.
Well, okay. I guess let's start off by saying change can, depending on how you look at it, always be good, no matter the circumstances. Because in the end, you will be smarter and wiser with just that much more knowledge as to what just happened in that moment of changing, no matter what it is.
Even if you like lose your legs or like you become.
Well,
like
yeah, you're going to learn how to use your arms more.
What if you become in a vegetative state? Like
A what?
A vegetative state, like you have no
Can't
motor control.
move anything.
No motor control, no coherent thoughts. You're alive, sure. I mean, is that?
Oh, well, I mean, okay,
that
I guess
good?
there's some exceptions. Now, if you're not deathly ill on a hospital bed, you're changed, you're going to experience something, and you're going to learn.
But is that learning experience always worth it?
No.
Are you going to say Batman, Bruce Wayne, sees his parents get killed? Well, obviously it affected him. It was a big change, but, putting yourself in his shoes, was that really worth it? To lose your two loving, rich at that parents? And, so you see what I mean? It's, yes, I see what you're saying, and I totally agree with you in the fact that all change, you can learn from it, and you can move on and become a better person. But I think it's hard for me, personally, to say all change is good, because just thinking about some of the things that there's some things in my life that I do not want to happen, right? It doesn't matter how much I'll learn from it or how much I'll grow as a person from it, but that change is bad in my mind.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Change isn't good.
It's never good.
Let's use a.
Is it never good?
Let's use a different way of saying this. Change is uncomfortable.
Change.
You never.
Yeah.
You never
Because the
expect it.
human-
You never want it, but you can work through it.
Because the human race itself is so comfortable with being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We're so used to a pattern. We're so used to doing things the exact same, whether
More like
it's
a
living
robot.
situation or whether it's a person, whether it's a job, whether it's whatever. We're so used to doing this, and this. And when something is out of whack, we're like,
What
whoa,
happened?
all of a
Yeah.
sudden?
hey,
Yeah.
slow down there.
I mean,
I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't prepared for this. I don't want this.
That makes sense.
But I mean, naturally,
Uncomfortable, but can still work through it.
yeah, and naturally, humans, we are very pattern seeking. We want to find patterns. You know, that's like this is kind of a side topic, so I'll say this, and then we'll get back on track. But you know, there's stuff like a lot of conspiracy theories. Like there's stuff like the speed of light is the exact longitude line of the Pyramid of Giza. Is that a coincidence? Well, most likely yes, but because we're so pattern seeking,
What did you just say?
the speed of light, the number, is the same as like latitude or longitude. I don't remember one of the lines
Of the Pyramid of Giza.
Pyramid of Giza. And Pyramid of
Coincidence?
Giza.
I think not. The aliens did it.
Exactly. Like we're prone to say that because we say, there's a correlation, there's a pattern, there's something that connects
Two
it all,
things
but
connect, so it automatically assumes they're
it's-
together.
Yeah, so we like to know, we like to see that, we like to have that pattern, and we have to like that thing in our grasp, in our control.
Well, it's also because everybody was raised the same. Well, to a degree, everybody in this world was raised knowing that there is a cause and effect. Whether your parents taught you the good way or the bad way about it, or taught you at all, being, hey,
You
you, do
eventually
this,
found out.
you do this is going to happen. You growing up and making life decisions, you're going to figure that out one way or another. So, if when growing up and you go from, well, I know this is going to cause this, that within itself is a pattern.
I like what you said
So your mind
about
just-
control.
Yeah.
I like that point that you brought to it because we like to control things in our lives, whether it's people, whether it's any type of situation. We like it to be in control, our control in general. So when it's not in our control and we cannot do anything about it, that's when it messes with us. That's when we're like, oh, hey,
And it's
I don't know what to do.
and it's hard because, you know, we want to be in control of everything, and this very much ties into change. You know, if everything were in our control, well, there would be no bad change. Everything would
Exactly.
get better and better. But, you know, how do we know that?
I might challenge that point.
I'll be right back.
Can you step in for him real quick
Sure.
and challenge that point?
Challenge what point?
I said, well, I was going to come around the camera.
All you have to do is click the pictures.
Just whichever one you think is best. Just
Yeah, I might challenge that point of saying, like, if I was in control of everything, that it would always get better. Because that would be assuming that I always know best.
well, and when I was
So,
saying, I guess it did need a little more explanation. But I was saying, when I was thinking, it always gets better to us. It always gets better, right? We look at this change and this lack of control, and we think we know what's best for us. We think we know how to move forward. We think we know what we want. We think we know what car, what job, where we want to live, what person we're going to be with. You know, but ultimately, is that really true? Do we know best what's best for ourselves? Because personally, from personal experience, I would say no.
I mean, I would argue that and say, yes, you are correct in the aspect of, no, we don't really have control, but we do.
Yeah.
We can control whether we want this job or this job. We can control whether we want this car or this car. We can control whether we want this house or this apartment.
But we can't really control what's best, right? You know what I'm saying?
We can think what's best.
Yeah, but we can't, you know, even though we look at a job, you know, or say we're going to get paid 6 figures a year, you know, we're going to get paid 6 figures in an
Wish.
annual salary. But we look at that job and we say this job is what's best for us because of the money that it makes. But we don't know necessarily that job is going to be the best for us because we can't control.
Maybe for the time being, that could be the best job for you.
It very well could be, but we can't make that the best job for us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah. Okay. We can't make that the best job for us, and we can't make our future. I mean, we can. It's weird. We can pick and choose our future, but we can't. We can't like. Oh, it's weird. it's like we can't craft our own best future.
Well,
Does
yeah.
that make sense? Because there's
No human can craft
Mhm.
what they think is best for them. Because
Yeah.
that's just not how it works.
Then I know we didn't really talk about this too much beforehand, but why?
Why?
Why can humans not craft it and control?
We can
There-
somewhere, right? Like, why do we go to school? Why do
Or,
we get
I mean,
education? Why do we work
Why
hard?
why can't humans plan the universe?
Because we don't have that power.
Is it the only reason? Why don't we have that power?
Because we have free will.
Yeah.
Everyone has free will.
Oh, so you're saying you can't
If
use
you
your
want,
free
if you
will
want, if you want to
to
rule the
inhibit?
world, if you want to rule the world, and I want to rule the world at the same time, how is that going to happen?
Yeah.
We both got free will. I can kill many people as I want, and you can do it the right way and get all the money to actually pay for it. And
the world.
guess what? You can either pay me off or I can kill you. Either way it goes, somebody's got free will and it doesn't work.
Wait, are you saying I'd beat the man who sold the world?
I mean, he is a millionaire, like we said earlier, right?
How do you say the David Bowie song? Man, no, never mind. Anyways,
You can't. You since because a better way to explain it. Since everybody has free will, I can't craft my future because you get to do what you want. If you want to come and stab her, that now means I have to take her to the hospital. I can't
I
take
mean,
her home and
technically you
cook her
don't-
dinner now because that's what I wanted to do.
yeah,
See what I mean?
yeah. I see what you
I can't craft my future going home and making dinner for her because you just stabbed her. I need to take her to the hospital now.
I feel like that's the human physical.
predicament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as in like biblical, it's
Yeah, or that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you whatsoever. I think you're entirely right, but I think, and this was
Biblically.
my fault, but why weren't we given the power to shape our own futures? To shape our own best future, to shape our destiny, destiny. You know what I mean, right?
I mean,
like-
that could be in the fact of our brains cannot physically comprehend that.
It could.
Like, if we already knew our future, wouldn't that change our future?
Oh, it could be like a
Like a
reverse
time-
self-fulfilling
yeah.
prophecy. Yeah, yeah. But I'd like to raise another point that, in my mind, anyway, is a lot simpler. Because we're selfish.
Oh yeah.
We're selfish. You know, whenever we think about our best possible future or what's best for us,
You're
you
on
know,
top.
we're looking at us. We're looking at me. What do I want? What do I think is going to make me the most happy? What's going to make me the most fulfilled?
How do I get myself on top?
Exactly. We're not really
Yeah.
looking at the others around you or the big picture. And speaking biblically, we have the big picture, but then we have the even bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't. First off, we don't have that view, and second off, if everybody was given that view, do you think everybody would necessarily say, "Okay, let me step back and let me do what's right for everyone. Let me do what's right for the universe."
Well,
Feels
we're
weird
always
saying.
gonna have those people who are like, you know what? I disagree. We're always gonna have people who disagree.
Karen.
I disagree. No, I'm just
Exactly.
kidding.
But whether you put out a solid plan, whether you say this is the steps I'm going to take, this is what I'm going to do, whether you just go with the flow, there's always going to be that set plan that you don't know what it is.
Mhm.
There's always going to be that set plan.
Yeah. And I
Which is
think-
why you pack 2 extra pairs of clothes in your to-go bag when you go camping.
Yeah. And
'Cause you never know
good
what's gonna
advice.
Says the guy who packs light, first and foremost.
You always have to have a change of clothes in your backpack.
Exactly.
Exactly. See, that's what I...
You always keep
Don't
water
hit
and
it.
blankets in your car.
Well, my car doesn't have heat, so we have to use blankets.
Yeah,
Good,
facts.
even
Yep.
better
So
reason
we're
to
good
keep
on that
water
one.
and blankets. Yeah. But, you know, we essentially, long and short, we can't control the master plan, and why, I think, anyways, is because we're selfish. Ultimately, God didn't give us the ability to write our own. I have to be very careful with
He
what
gave
I'm
us, he
watching.
gave us free will because Eve Eve ate the apple, right?
Well, that wasn't why.
That wasn't.
That wasn't why he gave us free will. He gave Adam and Eve free will in the very beginning, but Eve, and he said, "Don't eat this tree. Don't eat the fruit of this tree." And so then Eve was tempted, and she used her free will to eat of that tree, and the free will would
Out
never
of
change.
selfishness.
Yeah, change
Exactly. She was
Yeah.
curious because she thought that there might be something that she was missing out on.
Yeah, because
FOMO.
didn't he say if you took a bite of the apple, you'll know everything that God knows, and that's why He doesn't want you to eat it, because you'll have His powers or something,
No, that-
Good and evil.
or you'll know the
Did
difference
God-
between good and evil, and that's why
God
He
say
doesn't want
that?
you to eat it. No, the snake did.
Oh yeah, okay. I see.
And that,
Okay.
and then she wanted that out of selfishness to like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I want to know. I want to know what He knows.
Yeah, it's like a FOMO, like a fear
So-
of missing out. Yeah.
I guess that's why we can't have the ability to know, because the very first person He ever made literally wouldn't mess that up for. Thank you, Eve. We love you.
Second person.
Second.
No.
Well, yeah, second. But yeah.
But yeah,
still.
So essentially, God. I don't know. We don't. Oh, this is really hard to articulate. God knows best.
Yes.
Long and short. We don't know best. God knows best. Putting it plainly.
But that's hard to wrap your mind around. That is
Yeah, it
so
is.
difficult because you are going to get thrown things into your life that you do not want, that you are not comfortable with, that you can't afford, that you don't have time for. That's going to happen. No matter whether you've planned for it or not, it's going to happen. So, I don't know. It's just to say, God knows best. It's hard. It's
That's-
extremely hard
Very-
to be able to put that trust or that faith or that
Oh yeah.
little bit of, okay, I'm stepping back and you're stepping forward. That to me is one of the hardest things to do.
And I think that all ties back to the selfishness, the intrinsic selfishness of humans, the survival instinct.
I want to control this. I want this to go
Or
this
not
way.
not even necessarily. Well, yes, but it might sound something. A more familiar thought is, why does it have to happen this way? You know, it could have gone like this.
Twisted
could
it just a
have-
little.
You know, it could
tweaked
have.
it.
It wasn't what I imagined,
Exactly.
and that really is one of the hardest parts about change, in my opinion.
And you know what God's answer is to that? About the whole, why couldn't it have happened the other way? Because He needed it.
Yeah, it's what's best from here. You know, it's very.
It's a part of life. I mean, you said it yourself in the beginning of the podcast. He knows everything that's going to happen in your life before you were even born. Like every single person, He's got you.
That's a different. That's something too. I think that would be a good separate podcast. Is predestination versus, like, I guess kind of free will, but like, I don't know. I don't really want to get too heavy into that now because I feel like that could be a whole separate other
absolutely.
talk. But
I'll add it to our list.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh gosh.
To be
but,
continued.
yeah, wait, what were we talking about? My brain just.
Change.
A lot of stuff
Change.
that's confusing for the mind.
God knowing that.
God knows best.
God
Yes,
knowing
okay.
our whole
Yeah.
plan before we're even born.
Yes, and the
and-
difficulty of accepting it, right?
Yes.
And like, and yeah, and I tie that back to the human nature because I remember now.
okay.
And I
But it's-
understand why it's hard for people to accept that they can't shape their own future or understand
Oh, yeah.
what's coming. Because, one, like you said, if it's in front of you, you've never seen it,
Mm-hmm.
you can't predict it if you've never seen it coming.
Yeah,
you know,
much less could you write it.
I mean that's why car wrecks happen. You don't see them coming. Boom, it's done.
Boom, and change like that, and you know, it's
Sports car.
yeah,
The sports car,
in a
yeah.
sports car. Yeah, I mean it's so hard to accept, especially in car crashes. You know, especially if you were the one doing the right thing. You know, when you were the one that was hit when they run a red light or like, you know, XYZ, whatever. It's so hard to accept that, you know, because it's really easy to say, you know, why is this happening to me? This could have happened any better. Why does this happen, period?
Yeah.
Right? But it's at that point, yeah, often when I found myself at those crossroads of why is this happening, you know, it oftentimes takes me stepping out of that situation you know, to realize that, you know, stepping out of the situation doesn't mean I see the bigger picture, but it makes me see that there might be something greater at work.
Exactly.
Which is scary.
It's very scary.
To reiterate what y'all said, again, as y'all said, the human brain is wired to go into self-defense mode, selfish, take for yourself, make sure you're okay, make the fight for your life, which we've been sitting here talking about like how it could go out of the Bible and some decent like real world aspects. Now, what about this aspect? What about an atheist? Someone who doesn't believe in God. How do they just accept that? How do they step back and say, "Hey, this is going to be okay"? What do they do?
Well, I think that's really
How do they accept change? Because there's more changes everywhere and changes in everyone.
And I think that's something that is very important to look at for the Christian faith and the Christian walk, is what happens when you remove God from the equation. In my mind, the world all of a sudden gets that much more bleak. Right?
Okay.
There's nobody, and we're talking about atheist, not agnostic, atheist, so no God, no greater power. In my mind, the world gets so bleak, it gets so dark because all of these things are happening. Everybody's driven by their own desires, and
It's just a world of
it's
The
a
world is
of-
out to get you
it's
type
a world-
situation.
and it's a world of
of
chaos.
sins.
We live and die for nothing.
Everything's happening bad
You
to
know.
me. Everything's being put on me. This is bad happening to me.
And all of this, you have, you know, for me, I would find it very hard to keep going in the mornings, you know. And I've shared, and I shared before this podcast with the team here and some others that I've started picking up and reading in the mornings. And I'm reading a book called When Giants Fall, I think. It's so bad that I can't remember the title of the book I'm reading. But, you know, one of the reasons why I do it, why I've started doing this, is because I need that little extra bit of something to know that when I'm waking up this morning, my life is not in my hands necessarily at this point. There's somebody who, you know, at every step of the way has got me, and he's got a plan. It may not always be easy. It may not always be fun. And in that book, there's he uses an analogy, and I want to touch on. It's called When Giants Fall. So believe it or not, it's about David and Goliath.
Wow.
Wow, actually.
I would have never guessed.
You didn't just tell us before the podcast.
Thought it was about.
Yeah, well, now we're on air, so you
Thought
gotta hear it
about
again.
Yeah.
Daniel and the Lions. That's why I thought it was.
No,
about.
unfortunately, the Lions are big enough to qualify as Giants. But getting back to it, the author brings up a really, really interesting point that I never thought of, is that in the story of David and Goliath, we hear it in rallies and revivals and stuff to get us pepped and pumped to face the next day, to face tomorrow. We often hear, you know, you're the David, go pick up your sling and take down that giant. You know, you've got this. God, with God on your side, nobody can stop you. But the author spins it and flips it a different way that I find really intriguing, is that we are not David. And then I'd like to take with that author's illustration and take it one step further and say we are Saul in that story of David and Goliath. And Jesus, God, whatever, is David, and he's the one killing the giants, right? Because all we got to do is say yes. And there's something really, really interesting about looking at the earlier portions with Saul and his reaction to David saying he's going to fight him. It's, yes, take my armor, take my spear.
He's
Like-
being vulnerable.
Yeah, not only that,
He's
but I
stepping
think
back.
I actually think it's the opposite in my mind.
He's stepping forward.
He's trying to step in. So he's already said this is David's fight, right?
Yeah.
And yet he's trying to tell him how to fight the fight. And if we've established that God is David and we're Saul, does that sound familiar? We're giving God our armor, our expectations, our,
Yeah.
you know,
What we're
shell,
comfortable with, what we
what
want.
we're comfortable with,
Exactly.
and our shell that he has to fit into. You know, but
I gotta
ultimately,
find this book.
I can send like a picture or something, and all this Saul
Send a
stuff
picture to
is-
her.
Okay, I'll just send it to a group chat or something.
Okay.
But You know, we're trying to make God fit this mold, and it's, you know, it doesn't always work out that way, because when we look at the story of David and Goliath, David puts it on and says, "No, this isn't how I'm going to do it." Long and short, you know, he also says armor's big and clunky. It's not the most efficient way to
Doesn't
do
fit
it.
right.
You know, sound familiar? You know, we're trying to take control. We're trying to tell God, okay, I'll let you do this, but here's how it should be done.
That
This is the
big
most
butt in
efficient
the
way.
yeah, exactly.
Right? But when God David, or no, let me not get blasphemous here. when David told Saul, "No, I've got this." He goes down to the river and picks up 5 small stones, and he goes there with a sling. Like, what do you think Saul is thinking in that moment when he's watching this little boy, 9-foot tall man? In the book, it also says that his armor alone weighed 150 pounds, and the end of his spear was 15 pounds. Like, what is that little boy going to do? That little boy is doomed.
Apparently,
You know, I
killed him.
could
He's thinking of a cover story. I didn't send him. I didn't even know he was going out there.
exactly like he's, you know, I could just imagine
Preparing
he's
for the
like,
worst.
He's like, oh my goodness, let me get ready to be a slave. But all of a sudden, that the first rock is thrown, and it hits him square in the head, or actually I can't remember if it says him square in the head, but it hits him,
Yeah, it was.
and
like
he's
right
dead.
here.
And he's dead. And I think that's so powerful. And yes, there's the part, and the author also makes a really good illustration about him cutting his head off, but I would recommend reading the book for better context. But you know, like, was it Saul? Was Saul enabling David to, or no, was Saul the reason David was able to win?
No.
No, right? It was God through David, but in this situation, we'll say it was God. It was God who threw the stone, and the giant came tumbling down. But also, was it easy for Saul? No. And so, if we take that and we apply it to our everyday life, if we apply that to whenever we're facing change, whenever we're facing a problem in front of us, we want to give God our armor. We want to give him
Our
our
boundaries.
mold. We want to say, this is, whoa, don't do that,
Exactly.
right? It's not really easy, but we see in the end, first stone, giant goes down.
Exactly.
Pastor Michael.
Pastor
Yeah,
Michael.
there goes the most likely to be pastor. But, yeah.
Hey Siri, how we doing on time?
We're at 39 minutes.
39 minutes.
Well,
Also, we don't know how
pretty
good
good.
that his aim would have been. For all we know, it could have been like awful aim. So, what if it was
Well-
awful aim, but he guided the stone to hit him?
Yeah, although David did have a track record.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I mean, like, was a shepherd boy, you know.
He killed a lion and bear before that.
Yeah, all those
oh
were.
wait, he did. Never
But
mind.
One of them was with
his
his-
bare hands.
One of them was with a sling, wasn't it?
Imagine if he killed a bear with his bare hands.
No, he killed a lion with his bare hands.
Yeah, I
That's
think it was the
it.
bear.
But yeah,
Because
Yeah.
he killed the bear first, took the hands and killed.
I forgot he did that.
Is it?
Never,
Well,
never
he killed.
mind.
He killed a
Don't laugh
bear.
over there. That's not funny.
I mean, it was a little fun.
Anyways,
Anywho.
So are we closing up or what?
But Goliath, the book's name was Goliath Must Fall. I know what book I'm reading.
Goliath must fall.
must.
You know what?
She was the
Leave
one
my
who,
lift
in there.
alone.
my mom was the one who got me the book. So thank you, Mom.
Quit
You saved
messing
me on a
with my-
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
That's loud.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Awesome done. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus
No.
knows best.
Silas, any parting words of advice?
Any parting words?
Man, first off, this was the most broad topic I think, at least I've been part of. I mean, there's so much
Yeah.
to think and discuss about this.
We even got a new topic out of it for.
There's
Wow.
so many aspects
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, is the only one that really knows the true destiny, and you can shape it, whether for better or for worse, or following or not, or doing what you think is selfish in your own way, but you think is good. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. So remember, 19th is the next Kappa Youth. here in
right.
the youth room from
At
6 to
6
9.
to
What was
9.
that in warble in my voice? That was interesting.
It's puberty. And then
Yeah.
on the 13th, February 13th, we're
This
having the
Sunday.
Super Bowl party here, which is, yes, this Sunday.
Sunday.
And it's at 5 o'clock in the youth room. Snacks will be provided, and the game will be shown, and
Yeah.
water will may be
Couches
provided.
will be there.
Yep, everything you could think of, it'll be there for free.
Including Silas. Take him home.
Yeah, I'm free to take home.
He's free if you need to talk.
Yep.
That too. Actually, he's not free to
don't-
take home.
We don't promote that.
Yeah, we don't promote that. Never mind.
we don't endorse that.
Yeah, my bad. I take that one back.
He's free to talk to and get to know. He's
Yes.
a great guy.
He makes really good drinks, not alcohol. The
Mocktails.
mocktails. He makes really good mocktails.
He is my
Assistant.
apprentice.
Soon to be a headmaster, and then
That's cap. No, he won't. He
Are we
won't
gonna have a
pay.
duel?
Siri.
Are you gonna have a duel?
We need to
with
have a
the-
chat about this guy right here.
We need to get off a lot before we do
On
that.
me.
I mean,
It
is it
sounds like
really
we need to have
trying?
a
I'm
rule.
already doing it.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, there's a lot of smack talk going on here.
This is the change we're
Okay.
talking about.
You know what, Silas?
Faith
We are
is
no
this
longer Boba after this. I don't like you. That's change.
Thank you, baby.
No, I'm just playing.
Is this change easy for you to manage?
You know what? Right now, it's not the greatest.
Okay, here's. Sorry, I just found it. Here, maybe you should read the mic.
Okay, I will read it.
This is David's response talking about starting in 34.
34. But I have been taking care of my father's sheep and goats, he said. When a lion or bear comes to steal a lamb from the flock, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth. If the animal turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and club it to death.
Period.
I have done this to both lions and bears, and I'll do this. And I'll do it to this pagan Philistine too, for
As
he
you
has
should.
defied the armies of the living God.
Period.
The Lord who rescued me from the claws of the lion and the bear will rescue me from the Philistine.
Amen.
So maybe he didn't explicitly say he had a track record. But I mean, either way, he knew what he was doing in some capacity.
Are you his ad libs or something? Period. Amen. As he should.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Another one.
Come on.
Anyways, we have
The
you
more you
have
know.
his dates. Cafe Youth, February 19th.
Super Bowl party, the
this
13th.
Sunday, the 13th
Yes, at 5.
at 5, and we
In
will
the
see
youth room.
you 2 weeks or next week.
Next week.
podcast next
Well, Sunday. We'll see people Sunday.
We'll see people Sunday.
which is part of
You-
next week. So.
And you will find out when our next podcast is, whenever it goes up.
Yeah.
And if you're here at 5:01 at the next Cafe Youth, you're not allowed in. It's at
It's
5.
6:01.
It's at 6.
6.
Yeah.
6:01.
Yeah, 501, you're good.
Yeah, you're not allowed
You're
in at
gonna see us
5:01
setting up.
anyway.
Yeah, you'll help us set up and
you to see.
everything.
Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful day, night. I hope you get good
Y'all
sleep.
stay safe.
Stay
Stay warm.
Stay blessed.
Stay warm.